Gropian. In today's live video, I having to go on now and speak to you because I want to get this out of my head. It's been killing me since I've been videos that has been circulating around social media about what is going on in South Africa. There is a massive problem, right? There is a massive problem because what I am seeing is very reminiscent of what we saw back in the 1980s as I was growing up. The media was pushing out the story that was convenient for their people, right? This is what was happening. So they were pushing out this story which was confusing at times. A lot of times I didn't really know about what was going on there, what was going on in South Africa at the time. I didn't know much about apartheid. And they were throwing this word apartheid around in the 1980s, but I didn't understand it. My mother didn't really speak to me about it, and my parents never really spoke to me about it. Hello, Annie V. Hello, how are you doing? Nice to see you. My parents never really spoke about it. I don't know. I'm in two minds to say that I'm happy that they didn't. I'm kind of sad that they didn't. I'm happy that they didn't because at that time I never really had that feeling that. Hello, Xavier McCook, and thank you. Hello from Canada is saying hello. We were never really in that situation where when I was growing up that I sort of thought that our people were in any form of trouble around the world. So I always thought that we were on top of the world, that we were on top of things, that we were, that we were the privileged ones. I was always brought up believing that. But I believed that in my own mind because of the way I lived, right? And the way I lived. Alternative NGO, hello. So the way I lived back then was, it was refreshing, but it was ignorance, right? It was ignorance because I didn't realize what was really going on in South Africa. Didn't realize that until way after Mandela was freed. Way after Mandela. After Mandela was freed, even then the press in the UK was suppressing exactly what the immigrants in they're not immigrants because the illegal immigrants, right? The illegal immigrants in South Africa, what they had done and what they were doing systematically to the natives there, right? So anyway, fast forward to today. Now you've got the same media machine pushing out their own sort of story about what is going on in South Africa. So they're saying, okay, then Jacob Zuma, he's been indicted and, he's been charged. He's gone to court. He's been found guilty. He's this, that, and that. The other's happening. Guilty of what? Guilty of, the normal thing, actually. Nepotism, corruption. The standard, normal thing to do as a president in, not just in Africa, but in parts of Europe too. Many parts of Europe. And it is legal in the United States. They don't tell you it's legal in the United States, but they do it all the time in the United States and they give it fancy words, They give it fancy words instead, but it's the same thing. People paying other people for decisions to go their way. I didn't, hello Trey, I didn't know I was going live either. I've only just come on and I'm going to try and keep this one short. Yeah, nepotism is it a bad thing? If you got the most powerful job in the land, if you got the most powerful job in the land and you thought you could give your cousin a boost, a nice job somewhere cushy, you know, in a nice house somewhere in Mexico, you know, where he could spend the next 4 or 5 years and increase his own power, increase his own, you know, if you could do that, wouldn't you do it? I think I would. And it's sad, but it's a human thing. It's human nature that we want to help out our family members. Not all of us have family members where, you know, we kind of like each other, right? But it's not professional, is it? It's not professional. Because at the end of the day, you would want to make sure that you would put the best person in charge, the best person in charge, not just the person who's the same blood of you, you know, not your son. You know, you wouldn't want to do that because that your son more than likely isn't going to be the best person to lead the finance sector of your country or, you know, the defense sector, right? The South Africa, do you know what? Zosa Queen, hello and thank you for commenting. Why do you think it's going down? That's an interesting question for you. Because it seems as though things have not changed very much. Things haven't changed very much in South Africa. Things are pretty much the same. It's just, oh man, I don't know. Things are pretty much the same as they've always been. There's still, you know, segregation of some form, some kind. Just like in the United States, there is segregation there, isn't there? In the United States, they've even written it. They've taken it officially out of law, but they've put it into law in different ways. Tanya Cisse. Hello, Tanya. Sadly, South Africa is only part of the Africa. The only part of Africa I've never had an interest in visiting. Me neither. And it's, no, that's a lie. I have had an interest in visiting South Africa. I did have an interest. I still do to a certain extent. But it's going to hurt me. And I'm not going to feel good. And that's what I don't like. Because the wounds are still fresh down there. Right? And you know how ADOS, the ADOS community, the ADOS movement, you know, do you know these guys always cry and shout and they're not happy about these people coming in, you know, i.e. African continentals coming in from up, you know, fresh from Africa coming in and, you know, taking advantage of the systems that those people who have descended off slaves have fought for decades and decades and decades have fought for. You know, you have these people coming in from Africa and taking advantage of these systems. Somebody needs to take advantage of them, right? I don't want to go into talking about that, but it's the same thing. It's the same thing. You have people in South Africa now. You have the natives. The natives are there. They're doing their thing. And it just seems to be, you're the natives, know your place. We are the Europeans. We are doing this. We are the Middle Easterners, right? We are doing this. We are the Indians. Oh, yeah. We're going to do our little thing. Yeah, thank you. But it's that. Why are they there? What good are they doing to better the whole of South Africa? When I voted in 1994, I thought SA would be better, but Mandela sold the country. A lot of people seem to think that. A lot of people seem to think that, but they forget that it's not just him that sold the country. It's the other presidents that have followed as well. You know, you got to remember South Africa is what is it, the second wealthiest African country in terms of monetary wealth. I think it's second. There's just so much room there for corruption to happen. South Africa right now, and after the fall of apartheid, had never experienced the wealth that it has. Not even whilst it was under the apartheid system, because many countries never dealt with South Africa. There was an embargo, wasn't there, for many years. No other African country would except for Mauritius, oddly enough. No other African country. This is why you get a lot of, South African, Asian South Africans, right, who are from Mauritius, because Mauritius is like, it's mostly inhabited by sort of not Southeast Asians, by Indian-looking people. I would say Indian-looking people. I think they're from India. I haven't had any, haven't done any studies on that. But they were, the South African government needed Mauritius. They needed that island. They needed that support because they wasn't getting a lot of support from any other. They didn't get any support from any other African country, actually. Not even the Arab-speaking nations of the north. None of them dealt with them. That's a weird thing. So none of them dealt with South Africa except for Mauritius, and the apartheid regime made them honorary whites. I don't know if you know this, but they made people from Mauritius honorary whites. So people were able to come from Mauritius and take all the benefits that blanks would take, being blanks in SA. So a lot of them moved there, and you got a lot of them that have been there since then. They haven't been there for long. Yeah, okay, they're from India. I didn't know that, Annie V. Thank you. So you've got a lot of them there who still, for some reason, believe that and Malaysia, that's true. Thank you. They still believe that they are owed something. You know, like they are owed something. It's like, no, you're not owed anything. You know. So it's, where was I? I didn't want to come off the subject, but that is part of what is happening right now. So you have a lot of people there who are, and they are not native of the country. They're immigrants, right? That's what they are. Even if they are second generation immigrants, third generation, they are immigrants, right? Right? They are people who try to colonialize a country, failed to do it officially failed, but in reality, things are looking pretty sweet for them. Everything's going swell for those people. They're living a totally different life. And to have leaders like Zuma come in, and I mean, he did a pathetic job. I'm sorry, guys, but he did a pathetic job. He was there and he was a caretaker for all those years, but he's siphoned off a lot of the wealth out of South Africa, because South Africa does have a lot of wealth. It has a lot of wealth. And the colonial nations, I'm talking about the European colonial nations. Richest countries: 1 Nigeria, 2 Egypt, 3 South Africa. I didn't know he expelled them from Uganda. Who did? Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about. There's a reason why they did these things. There's a reason why, and you're seeing it right now for yourself in South Africa. So what is the media not telling you? What is the media not telling you about what's happening in South Africa? So they're telling you that all these riots going on, and there's looting going on, and there's anger, and you know, all this is happening, and oh yes, the Middle Easterners who are living there, they pray for our people, and those people are like, yeah, pray for our people. The Europeans, oh, look, look at what these people are doing to the country. They are destroying the country. No, you destroyed the country. You destroyed it when you laid your feet on that land. Nobody else is destroying that country. You did. Nobody asked them to come. This is the thing. Nobody asked those people to come. They came off their own free will. And they are always welcome to return to the place from whence they came. They don't need to stay there. They don't need to stay there. And I don't like that. I don't like it when they say that. Oh yeah, look, they are destroying our country. They're not. They're not. That country was done for a long, long time ago, even before apartheid. As soon as the Netherlanders, and I'm including the Belgians because there are quite a few Belgians, right? You got to remember something. A lot of the people who normally went into these colonies, the first waves of people, just like in the United States, you can see this. They are from a certain line of blood, of people. They're not the better people of that country, or else they wouldn't have chosen to move in the first place, okay? The first waves of people that you see that came over, got their land and all that sort of thing, that they were, yeah, I don't even like to, I've got to be careful with the way I speak on this platform now, but they weren't the creme de la creme, far from it. They were quite the opposite. So that's who you had moving into these countries, and their bloodline is still there, of course. And it's filtered down, and you've got just, I don't know. You have people that have a certain way of thinking who live in South Africa, who live in the United States of America, who live in Australia, who live in New Zealand. They're there, they're prevalent today. So what is happening in South Africa is, yeah, you do have all these riots going on, but they're not telling you about the reprisals that the immigrants are committing against random natives of South Africa. Someone going to fill his car full of fuel. His car ran out of fuel. He went to get it and put it in a can, went down the road to get some fuel for his can. He gets beaten and shot. Yeah, that happened. That happened. And it's happening. Not just that, worse is happening. And I'm seeing these videos coming out with all these people, I'm not even calling them militias, just savages. These savages going around in groups, picking on single black men because they're savages, and you know what they're like. They can't do anything by themselves. They turn hard, they turn into men. Yeah, I'm a tough guy, when there's 20 of them behind them and they're going after one black dude. They're all tough, they're all hard men all of a sudden. Right, so that's what's happening. They're forming groups and they're attacking individuals. Not because that individual did anything specific to their shop or to their restaurant or to whatever dump they own in South Africa, right? Not because of that, but because of the color of the skin. If you see, oh yeah, him, what is he? Yeah, we can do this. So they're going after these people. They're going after them. Innocent natives, completely innocent. Haven't done anything wrong, just in the wrong place at the wrong time, by themselves, not in a group, by themselves. And they're being singled out. So why is that happening? Because of the types of people who they are. You got to remember, these people that are moving to Africa, people who have, you know, the waves of people who are moving, especially the ones that are moving to South Africa, right? The ones that feel like they can, you know, back in their own country, they were down there. But oh, wait a minute, there's a country like South Africa, and if I move there, then I'm like this kind of, you know, I'm a little above. There are people down there, and I can tread on them, and I can, you know, I can abuse them. Yeah, you know, it's happened to me all my life. I've always wanted to live like that. I've always wanted to tread on those people, those types of people. All my life, I was one of those people, but now I have the opportunity to do it to somebody else. What kind of people are these? And they're moving over there for that specific reason. There are people coming in from all over the world who are moving to Africa specifically for that reason. To abuse the natives. Because they feel like they have one up on them. Because where they came from, whatever hellhole they came from, right, whatever dump they came from, they were the bottom tier humans in the, you know, they were at the bottom of the barrel. And now all of a sudden, this was a nice, easy way to have some form of, I don't know, mobilization, right? Social climbing, the easy way. So what they are doing is tragic. They're going after these people. They are going after our people that look like us specifically for that reason. Because they believe they can get away with it. They just think, oh, I can get away with it. Why not? What are they going to do? What are you going to do about it? That type of thing. So they're doing this, and the mainstream media, especially the Western mainstream media, are not reporting on it. I just hate the way these people are being treated. I do. They are shooting first and asking questions later. Zimbabwe failed for a lot of reasons. Sorry, someone was talking about Zimbabwe, but it was because of the leadership too. What's the name of the first lady, the ex-first lady? Oh man, I heard some crazy stories about her in Zimbabwe. Just, you know, you had people starving in Zimbabwe. But these people in the government, you know, this is nepotism at its best. They were just going out and trying to take whatever. Yeah, Mrs. Mugabe. What's her name? What's her? Remember, she got her doctorate. How long did it take for her, the doctor? How long did it take for her to get her doctorate? Was it like 3 months? These people are crazy. These people are crazy. Grace Mugabe, thank you. So she went on a shopping trip in London, right? Flew on a private jet to London, went on a shopping trip. All nice, cool. You know, enjoyed herself. Went to was it Rackham's Cavendish House? You know, Harrods, you know, those places, spending the good old money. Gucci Grace, that's the one. So went out spending, buying all these clothes and all that. And after she finished out of Harrods, she didn't have any room in the car that she had to put all of her shopping. So she had 2 of her men go out and buy 2 Mercedes-Benzes, cash. They brought the Mercedes-Benzes to Harrods. They filled up those cars with all the stuff, all the loot that they had bought. Must be nice, right? Filled up their cars and took off and went up towards Luton Airport, which is just outside London. This is where most of the people, if you're a world leader, this is where you land if you're going into London. You don't land at Heathrow, you land at Luton because they have special parking for private jets there. So they landed, they took all the stuff out of the cars when they got to the airport, put it into this private jet and took off. Left the cars on the tarmac, discarded them like rubbish. Whilst there's people starving, men, women, children starving in your country, I have no words for people like this. I have no words for people like this. It's just so, not just wasteful. I mean, who cares about 2 bloody cars? That's nothing. But the fact that she could have done so much more, something better. She could have done something for the people. But all she cared about was power. Filthy, just filthy. People do starve in England too, but England it's the 5th richest country in the world. If people are starving in England, it's their fault. I'm sorry, but there is so much ways, not you can earn money, but you got to remember, England is not like the USA, right? So whilst the USA is very wealthy, the wealth isn't as evenly distributed as like it is in the UK. And there's plenty of, it's not even, I wouldn't say it's half a social state, but it's a heavy social state. So if you want to do something in England, if you're really in trouble in England and you have no place to stay, you have no money and you have no food, you will be given a place to stay. You will be given food. You will be given money by the state. They will give this for you, and you don't need to, you don't need to be special or anything like that. You don't have to be a special case. They will give that to you, gift it to you, and you won't have to pay for your rent. You won't have to pay for your electricity. You won't have to pay for your food. Especially if you have kids, you can send them to a good Central England high school education, to have a decent education. You can do that in the UK, right? You can do that because the UK's system of capitalism is used a lot more to pay for its socialist, it's the social system that is also in the UK. I saw a Chinese shop owner tie up a black woman, and what was so beautiful was a black stood up for her. That's very nice. Of course, the UK stole everything they've got. It wouldn't be where it is now if it wasn't for the theft that they did all across the world. The cost of living in the UK makes welfare pointless. It's a trap. That's not truth. The cost of living in the UK is very, very good. It's just about where you live. A lot of people think UK, London. London is expensive to live in. London's like a bubble to the rest of the UK. Go and live in Manchester, Liverpool, Birmingham, Bath. I was going to say Bath, Bristol. Go live in those countries. You will live a comfortable life in those cities. You won't have to pay stupid rent. You won't have to, shopping. To go grocery shopping in the UK is dirt cheap because the supermarkets are funded by the government. The government has policies in place that help British farmers. So if supermarkets like Aldi and Tesco's, if they buy from the British supermarket, the British farmers, they get subsidized. Okay, that's the way it works. So food in the UK is incredibly good quality and really cheap. Really, really cheap. You can buy your family shopping and you won't even have to think about how you are spending, right, on food wise. You could go to Aldi, buy your family shopping for a family of 4 for the entire week and spend $50, $45. You could spend that easily and comfortably live like that in the UK. Comfortable. They have subsidized farming, subsidized food. That's just the way it is. Let's have a look. Sorry. You don't know what you are on about. Do you live in the, are you, what? Dude, what planet you living on? You don't know what you're on about, you know. Of course I know what I'm on about. How long have you been living in the UK for? What's his name? Sorry. London guy, African dreaming. How long have you been living in the UK for? I've been living there. I lived there since the 70s. How long have you been living there for? I guarantee you I know more about what's happening in government institutions in the UK than what you do right now. I'm sorry. That's just fact. I don't want to put it. I'm not trying to put you down. I'm not trying to put you down, but that is the way it is. Are you telling me that they don't have subsidized farming in the UK? Is that what you're telling me? It is. It's just the way it is. It's always been that way. In the 1990s in the UK, it was a lot more prevalent. The socialist policies were a lot heavier in the 1990s, and it changed back in the noughties. Go ahead and defend your point. I'm not even sure what point you're trying to make. I didn't read it. The prices in the UK are quite high now. You really could not buy a family. Yes, you could. You could. Where are you shopping? Where are you shopping? Waitrose, Sainsbury's. Where are you going? Where are you going shopping? I didn't really want to go into this subject, but where are you going shopping in the UK? Morrison's. If you go to one of those shops, of course, it's going to cost a ton. You're going to struggle. But if you go to Aldi, Aldi has great prices. I keep saying this. I'm not trying to, it's not free advertising for them, by the way. But I still shop there now. They don't call it Aldi here in the German-speaking, they do in some German-speaking countries, right? But they call it Hofer or something like that. They have an Aldi right here. How is racism in the UK? It's very prevalent, systematic racism, but it's more prevalent towards people who are of our kin than it is towards other non-natives, because in general the other natives, like the other immigrants, like the Chinese and the Indians and the Pakistanis, they don't really mix. They're not really integrated into British society like the Afro-Caribbeans did. So the Afro-Caribbeans sort of tried really hard to integrate. They didn't, and they've thrived from it. They really have. They've grown. So they've kept their own policies. They've kept their own communities together. Okay, their culture, everything they've kept together, and they've grouped themselves, and they live in one place, and they say, okay, this is us. This is. We don't have to go live with them. Don't worry about them, because they knew straight away that if they went out and started living with John Brown, in the suburbs, they were going to be in trouble, because they don't like sending their kids to school with John Brown's son. They don't do that. They're not stupid. Smart people, really. They don't want to do that. They want to send their kids to school with kids that look like them, that came from the same place, the same race, not just the same race, but the same ethnicity, same religion, everything else. That's what they want. They don't want to send their kids to school with David Gray's children as well. So you had all these British people. Oh, well, I don't want these people in my school. They didn't want to be in there either. They didn't want to be there. Okay, some of them didn't have a choice, and that's why there was the amount of kids that went to one particular school, and those people in the UK that have been living there, for quite some time will know this straight away. What I'm about to say, right? If you had 1 year, you had like a group of Indian children who would move to a particular school. The next year, the rest would follow, right? That they would follow, and they'd pick up those places, and they would assimilate whole schools that way. They were really good at it, and this is the way that they were able to keep, their communities together. It was almost like military precision that they did things. They kept things together. I'm not a child of the Windrush generation. Oh, wow, you're trying to say I'm that old? Come on. No, my mother never came in from the Windrush, by the way. My mother flew to the UK in a jet. Okay. And she was 19 years old when she flew to the UK. So we're talking 1969, 1970. Yeah. They flew there on aeroplanes because they existed back then. No, Windrush was a little before that. That was just after the war. I think Windrush was early 1950s. Some points I would like to discuss. Go ahead. Okay, so I'm just going to go on. I didn't want to come off the subject, but the UK clearly has policies where, well, I'm just saying that they have more socially conducive policies that bring in people from all ethnicities or races. And they did that in the 1990s. I think I spoke to you guys about this already. So under Blair, they had policies to strengthen communities, the black community, the Asian community. They did that, and it was like, positive reinforcement. I forgot what it was called now. But they had these policies anyway. So if you was a young black man in the UK in the 1990s, and you went to, this is the reason why he was loved by black people. If you was a young black man, and you wanted to be a policeman in the 1990s, they would throw the job at you. You had more chance of getting a government job, right? Even if you had a lower grade of, let's say, experience or education than your white counterpart, you had more chance of getting that job than your white counterpart in the government, because they had quotas to fill. So if you was an Asian woman, boom, you wanted to be a firewoman, boom, they'd snap you up. You wanted to be a nurse, boom, they'd snap you up. They'd just take you. And of course, a lot of people people in the Afro-Caribbean community and in the Asian community, they loved that. So they loved Blair. No, I'm not saying that Blair was a good man, because clearly he wasn't. The UK needed those socialist policies after the war. NHS was the catalyst. Yeah, well, that is part of the catalyst. It was part of the catalyst. It was. And the NHS is still the jewel in the crown when it comes. It's something that I boast about to people over here. I still boast about it to people about the NHS. People will go around the world, British people go around the world, and they'll talk about the NHS. It is. Imagine, try telling an American that, oh, I had triple heart bypass surgery. Oh, okay. Who are you insured with? How did you pay? And you tell them, what? I don't have to pay for it. I never had to pay for it. You don't pay for it. Where do you think they're getting that money from to pay for the NHS? Because it's completely free for anyone, not just for citizens. If you are there, you're from the USA and you were walking around the UK on holiday and you needed, you had a heart attack and you needed triple bypass surgery, they'd do it for you. They would never once ask you for money. Never. Welcome to the UK. Okay, that is the way it works. Yes, it costs £1 billion a week to run the NHS. It costs £1 billion a week. I think it's much better than spending £1 billion a week running a war in a country that has done nothing to you. So yeah, anyway, I have come off subject, guys. I have come off subject. I did not. What's not, sorry, I don't know if you're not talking to me. Are you talking to me? No, that's not true. What's not true? Write it in the comment section. I'm coming off the subject. So I wanted to, did colonization end for Western nations? Why would it be wrong for melanin Africans to recolonize their native land? No right or wrong with civilization. Not true, Ton. Taxpayers pay for the national. Of course, that's not just 100% the truth. Taxpayers pay a part of it, don't they? Let's be honest with ourselves. No matter what happens, when you pay tax, you are paying for the services that you get. But we don't have higher tax than like what they do in the United States or in the Netherlands, right? The Netherlands has to pay, if you're in the Netherlands, you have to pay I think it's $120. If you're Dutch, you'll hear me, you can hear this, right? You have to pay somewhere in the region of $120 a month for your health insurance, right? So you have to pay, unless you are unemployed. If you're unemployed, you don't have to pay. So that's just the way it is. So you pay to an insurance company in the Netherlands, and then if that happens, let's have a look. Sorry, Germany, UK, Sweden, and even Canada have great healthcare systems. The US is depraved. People may not get medical debt relief after COVID. Oh, that is crazy. Yeah, I'm sorry. What about South Africa? You're not making your point, London guy, African dreaming. You haven't made your point. But anyway, yeah, I wanted to get back to South Africa and what is happening there to our people. And something needs to be done. Something needs to be done. Absolutely. And it's like a never-ending story. We just keep doing this. We keep getting to the point in which our people have had enough in South Africa. And then we just sort of... I heard you. And then in South Africa, and then it just goes away. So you'll have, remember when the miners got mowed down? You remember that on TV? Something needs to happen. This government needs to be turned inside out, straight up. It needs to be turned inside out, and they need to adopt stronger policies which better the lives of the native African people that live there, the native Zulus, Xhosa, all the other, the real people of that country, yeah, the real people. They need to adopt and strengthen policies that make their lives better. I don't care about the others. I have had enough of them. They've just caused trouble everywhere. Everywhere they have gone, nothing has happened. Everywhere they have gone, they've caused death and misery and suffering everywhere they go. Seriously, it's not fair. It's not fair that they need to do that. UK, well, it wasn't. UK needs to stop colonization in South Africa. Well, it's too late for that. It's too late. That boat sailed a long time ago. What is happening in South Africa right now? I can't find much. Are you kidding me? I hope you don't. I hope you don't. Yeah, well, what's happening? I'm sorry for that reaction. What's happening in South Africa right now is that there are riots happening and looting happening, right? A lot of it happening as well. And it's because the former president, Zuma, he has been, he's been charged and he's been found guilty of a host of different charges, including nepotism and, of course, God, I can't believe that this is happening. Really, I can't believe it's happening. There is, do you know what a lot of people think when you think of the country with the most uneven wealth gap, with the largest wealth gap in the world? A lot of people think it's South Africa, but it's not. I bet you don't know which country it is. And it's a developed European nation. It's the Netherlands. The Netherlands has the largest, no, it's the Netherlands. The Netherlands has the largest wealth gap in the world. That's because there are a lot of people in the Netherlands that are, they're quite rich. The Netherlands don't have anything like in the USA. They don't have people that is worth more than 30 billion, euros. They don't have like 50 billion, these 100 billionaires, they don't have anything like that. But what they do have are these billionaires who are worth 2 billion, 3 billion, 2 billion. They have lots of them, tons of them. And the reason they have them is because of the way the government, the markets, remember the markets, the Dutch East India Company, that was the company that started up the markets, stocks, that type of thing. So many of the people who were pretty wealthy back then invested in stocks. They invested in their stocks, floated their own stocks. And you imagine that wealth compounded. This was 500 years ago. And in the Netherlands, that compounded over that time. So they got lots of people over there with that kind of money. So that's why. So South Africa, of course, it's unequal, but it's unequal in a different way. The black people were disenfranchised during apartheid, and they haven't done enough to change that. And we're talking, next year it will be 30 years ago. They had enough time to do something now. 30, and nothing much has changed. That needs to change. Now, I know that there is a substantial middle class in South Africa. There is a substantial middle class. And a lot of the poor people in South Africa, the poor black people in South Africa, are not actually South African, are they? They're coming from all the other nations, sort of trying to seek their wealth. So I know that, but still, it doesn't change the fact that these townships still exist. Why are they still there? Why are these townships still existing for? It's crazy. Of course, they do. They need to tax these farmers heavily. They need to tax them 50%, 60%. They need to tax them. The way they get taxed in America, they need to tax these people. They don't have to give up the land. They can keep the land, but tax them heavily. If you take their land, the same thing's going to happen to you what happened to Zimbabwe. Okay, they're going to start sticking sanctions on you. So just tax the farming, tax farms, tax everything like that. Everything that is generally owned by the Europeans, the European natives, the European settlers, immigrants. Tax them. Yeah, there is an increase in poverty amongst whites. That's true. But the reality is where does that come from? Where does it come from? I don't know. But do you trust the governments to properly use the money after you tax them? No, of course not. I don't even believe in the tax system. I don't. They tax everything. They tax your earnings and then they tax the stuff that you buy. That's wild, man. These people are on one. And then they use your money to fund all sorts of BS in the Middle East. South Africans are destroying their own country, and me as a South African, I am out of that country, looking to different countries now for my retirement. The sad thing is that you need to look a little deeper, and you know the problems South Africa had in the past and how they were never dealt with properly. They were never dealt with properly. Even under Mandela, Mandela didn't do that much, really. He didn't do that much. He couldn't, his hands were, I don't even want to start making excuses for him, but he couldn't do that much. And that's a sad thing. He would be really saddened to see what is happening down there. I'm not really going to start going into who's to blame, but I will say this now. Those people who are running around, those people, the natives, that's what's happening right now. They're just going around and doing this. Point blank, and then saying, oh yeah, he robbed me. Using it as an excuse to get their gun off. That's what they are doing at this moment. Yeah, he robbed my shop. Yeah, he did. Yeah. These, oh man. I hope that if anything, this brings change. I'm hoping that's what happens. I'm hoping that this brings change, that there's some sort of change that has been brought. Well, no, it's not. But who cares about G20 status when your people are starving? No, they're not starving, are they? It's not that bad, but they have no hope. They are climbing aboard aeroplanes, through the wheel wells so they can get out of the country because they have no other hope down there in South Africa. Or whilst the other people who are coming in from abroad, they're living the life of Riley, apparently. South Africa has a problem, right? And the problem is that they thought they could give people, immigrants, the same status like other African countries could. They thought they could do it the same way, but they couldn't. This is what the problem that the mistake Nelson Mandela did. Thinking that, do you know what, let's right the wrongs and let's start from here. No, you can't do that. Not until you fix the problem. All he did was mask the problem. Oh, these don't happen anymore. We don't have to worry about that anymore. Apartheid is gone, so that's changed. It was gone in law, but in reality, it was still there. It was still there. And these people, the ones that enforced it, they're still alive. They're still alive. And they, I have to really be careful with what I'm talking about here, but yeah, exactly. You always got to be careful of those people who look like you when they are praised by the colonizers. When you see them holding hands and shaking hands and all that, you have to be careful of those people. Yeah, you have to be careful. It didn't work out well. Bush it was George, not George W, the other George Senior, Bush, adopted many policies which brought the apartheid regime down. But until then, President Reagan, he was vouching for them. Go on, you. That's why apartheid survived the 1980s, because of President Reagan. And then I think they put a statue up of President Reagan in London. And I think someone tried taking it down. Yeah, exactly. Well, they wouldn't give those people a Nobel Prize. They would never give Lumumba a Nobel Prize or Kwame Nkrumah, because they were fighting for us, truly fighting for us. Hence the reason why they had to go. Guys, I want to make sure that this is short enough so people can come in and watch this a little later. Okay, I'm going to go live a little later again, okay, because I want to talk about Blaxit, and I want to talk about this new video which has surfaced with this young lady who's claiming Blaxit lied to her, just out and out lied to her, lied about where the land was that she sold her, just lied about everything, and still has not received her land papers. It gets worse, doesn't it? It just keeps getting worse. So I wanted to talk about that later. But I wanted to get on now. I want you guys to know that things are not going well in South Africa. And again, it is our people that is suffering. And keep them in your hearts. Share. Let people know exactly what's going on down there. Okay. I don't know yet. But I will, because I've got something I've got to do at this moment. I was supposed to be on a Zoom call at some point. I'm missing Zoom calls. Guys, if you start up your own business, make sure you have enough resources, because I'm having to do everything at this moment. I'm working every single day. You know, I've only started the business up 2 weeks ago, and I can't remember off the top of my head, but we've had a lot of business come through. So things are good on that stage. I prefer there to be lots of business than no business at all. But boy, oh boy, tired, man, tired. But anyway, so thank you guys. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. If you haven't subscribed yet, please hit the subscribe button. Hit the like button if you haven't hit the like button yet. I'd like to thank all the Patreons as well for your support. I'd like to thank you guys for watching, because you support me as well. I'd like to thank all you guys for the super chats. I didn't get any super chats today, but that I don't mind. I haven't asked for any. I was just about to ask say thank you, but thank you in general for the super chats that you've given me in the past. Very, very nice. Thank you very much. And I will see you in the next one. Okay. I will put up a post and let you go. Put a job posting out for interviews. No, I can't do that. It's a security issue. I need to have people that I either know or someone who I know can certify them. I can't just go out and get people to, post for people to have a job interview with us. I have too much people's information, and that information is absolutely, it's imperative that information is kept secure. You understand? Yeah. Haiti president is dead for refusing the vaccines. Tanzania president, yeah, there are quite a few of them, isn't there? Black presidents going down. I hope, gosh, there must be something we can do, right? I'm feeling rather hopeless at this moment. But anyway, guys, thank you, and I will see you a little later on this evening. Join us later, okay? I'll put up a post once I've done what I'm doing here. Okay, thank you. Take care, guys. I'll see you in the next one. Ta-ra a bit. Ta-ra.